Hey, happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
It is a good Friday, too. The weather here has been a tiny bit cold, but we're going to get big warm ups. Christmas here is going to be 71 degrees.
That's very different for us.
That is unheard of. That is completely unheard of. So I'm going to really have to fight the temptation not to get up and go work outside.
Yeah.
It's
Christmas. Well, don't feel like it.
Right. So who knows, but
it'll be nice though. We can spend some time outside on Christmas that we're not used to. Well, there's been times where the kids all come over and we go sledding or something. And
yeah. So I grew up a Denver Bronco fan. Don't nobody get mad at me for that. And my boys are Denver Bronco fans. Mm-hmm. And so what we've elected to do for Christmas is the Broncos play the Chiefs, which is the rival, right? One of the rivals, on Christmas night. And so we're going to have a tailgating food Christmas with the boys. And
with all of the kids, their significant others, our grandkids.
No presents, none of that kind of stuff. We're just going to hang out and, be silly. And me and B were talking about the DIY gingerbread houses because, my boys are a little bit like me. They're handy and they're artistic and creative.
If they can come up with crackers and some frosting.
Yeah, so that might be fun. And then pretty quick, we'll be at the Freeman Festivus on the 3rd, which is the holiday for the community, which that'll be super, super cool. We'll talk about that later.
I can't believe it's already Christmas.
I know.
December.
I know.
The whole year has gone so fast.
Yep. I took all of next week off. That's been good because this week for me has been quite hectic. I started Monday in mediation, so basically court, trying to recover losses of a company. And spent 8 hours there that day, and then worked full day Tuesday, full day Thursday, and then Wednesday at home on the farm. And then here's Friday, and it takes me a good half of the day just to get the live ready. So I have not been super productive from a farm perspective. Have you?
I got hay into the stalls with a wagon, and I cocked all the trim that you put up in pod 4. The bathroom's been caulked. It's ready for paint. Well, the wood's ready for paint. The wall, on the other hand, needs to be drywalled or needs to be mudded or sanded, I guess.
Well, drywalled, mudded, and sanded are very different things.
Yeah, sanded. The drywall needs to be attended to, is what I meant. Not drywalled.
Right. Should we get some hellos in? Should we do that?
Sure.
All right, let's do some hellos. Starla Dope is the first one in. Good evening. Helen, happy harvest. How are you? The king himself, Jeff, Gypsy, Hefty, Lefty, Amazon, Mud Dogger, Slick, Phyllis is in the house tonight, as is Squatchy, who says, oh my goodness, already in the middle of lambing. We'll listen as we go. They're up to 18. Yes, 18. Oh my goodness. We have one calf born here. It's a big deal. I couldn't imagine. Can you imagine 18 at one time?
18 lambs.
Mm-hmm.
What a blessing.
What a blessing. Let's see here. Permatopia Farms in the house. Good to see you. Kent and Paula have joined us and said they are attending tonight's internet audience, and we are perplexed by worldwide events, particularly during Christmas. Remember the reason for the season. Yeah, we a whole bunch of things on this. We have been talking a lot in our family about trying to get back to more family-oriented traditions and further away from the consumerisms that come with it. And it'll be interesting to see the next few years what comes from it. But I'm excited about that. And I seem to have willing partners, in the quest. So that's pretty good. As far as the world goes, guys, I've been saying it for a long, long time. This world is just getting worse and worse. And there's no way, zero way they're going to stop it. Even if it's not intentional, even if everybody had great intentions, and everybody believed they were going to go to, Congress or get elected or whatever it was to change the world. It ain't changing. And it's going to continually get worse. They destroyed morality. They destroyed the education system. They destroyed the money system, right? They've destroyed the family. Oh my goodness, what a big one that is, right? And the wealth gaps gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the birth rate goes down and down and down, and the debt grows higher and higher and higher, and
unattainable now.
Well, but the problem is that as that debt goes higher, what comes with it's more regulation, more taxes, more things, and then they begin to squeeze, and the people in poverty get to feel it first, and then it just works its way and further and further up until the middle class is destroyed. So Love you guys. Not trying to be Debbie Downer. I'm just saying that I'm not really perplexed by it so much, Kent. I'm disappointed, for sure. Let's see here. Bessie Darling, welcome in. The greatest name on the internet.
Half bubble off them.
Is in the house. Dana Green, good to see you. Carrie Davis says, Merry ho ho ho. Let the baking begin. That is one great thing about the holidays, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Sure.
Well, we're having a cookie contest, so
yeah, at the Festivus.
Got to
Let's see
perfect
here.
my cookie recipe.
Yeah, Postmodern Soapbox. Good to see you. Rhonda Benefield. Hello. My friend Nitos. How's living off grid going for you there, big guy and gal? Jane Marie. Good to see you. Let's see here. Life with Mike and Jen is in the house. I'm assuming that it's Jen. Jen, good to see you. Let's see here. Starla Doak. Hello. No lives complete.
That about right?
There you go. Gregory Kissel's joined us tonight. Good to see you. And the Terminator from Ontario, Canada. My buddy Redneck Tom's in the house. How you doing, Tom? Hey, look at that. There's Scott Horn. Scott's a super good dude. Matthew, welcome in. Good to see you. Curious if what he's doing with those new learned skills. I'd be curious. Stan Guthrie, welcome in. Randy Edens, hello. How is South Alabama? Hey, there's Plumber Mickey. What's up, buddy? Indiana Mike, how are you? Indiana today was out and about helping another homestead install a water system. How cool is that? We talk a lot in community about how we have these community days and all these things, but
yeah,
we have many, many days where it's just one or two persons headed somewhere to do something, but pretty cool. Let's see here. Did I get everybody? Yeah. Gypsy said, ahoy, meaning Indiana Mike is the homestead helper of the month. Concerned friends, good to see you. Well, thank you for the email, by the way. Pretty cool. So tonight, oh wait, there's Mike Newtbar. What's up? Happy Friday. How you doing, bud? Me and B were just talking about you. Anyway, me and B typically at the end of the year, as you guys know, we will go through kind of a year, what happened this year, right? But sometimes life has a funny way of telling you things, and sometimes I suffer from getting caught staring at the bark because I'm not far enough back. I get to see the forest. This makes sense, Yeah. And you get yourself like, man, this isn't right, and I got to get this and this, and sometimes we have to take a moment not to live in the rearview mirror, because you don't want to live in the rearview mirror. Revisiting decisions don't do you any good, but just being proud of the things that you accomplished. So we thought what we would do tonight, if you guys don't mind, is we're going to go through 6 years of life done free on the farm, the things that we've accomplished, the challenges, a lot of those.
45 minutes.
We're going to try it in 2 hours and 2 hour time limit, but we'll see how well it goes. But we'll definitely do our best. Let's see here. Permatopia Farm says, I only get together with my family for Thanksgiving, but not Christmas because too much pressure with the present, gift, etc. Yeah, I think that's why you just say, hey, let's not do that anymore. Let's just not do that anymore. Let's find, something else. So Terminator said, I was down the road visiting my neighbor. She asked me if I would help her when she gets milking cows. I told her I would. Oh, yeah, there's a source for cream, milk.
Look at
cheese,
you partnering up.
Right? Yeah, look at that. All that big,
good job.
Community stuff.
And that's how it starts.
Yeah. And that, unfortunately, is how it all starts. Before we get into the history, I thought I'd share something with you guys. So we had our holiday party at work, one of my works. We had a holiday party there, and they always do an ugly sweater thing at work, and the HR person really likes the ugly sweater thing, so I just play along with it. So last year I wore one that said taxation was theft. And I have to tell you guys, it's really, really funny. The employees, I don't think they quite know how to take me sometimes, right? Because I'm the boss, but at the same,
you walk around in a suit.
And I walk around in a suit, and I do those things, and I'm the guy that
One
goes.
Of those weirdos.
Yeah, and then, but there's just times where I think you have to wear a taxation is theft sweater. So I have a new sweater this year that I thought I would share with you guys. What you guys think? Look at that. Epstein didn't kill himself. That was the sweater I wore at the company holiday party this year, which I think is pretty exciting. What do you think? Did you like it?
Yes. With the deer.
Yeah. I actually had 3 employees come up to me and ask me if they could take a picture with me. That's super, super cute, I think. Let's see here. Plumber Mickey said, told all my grandchildren this year my Christmas presents to them is me coming to visit. And I think that's right.
Nice.
Yep, I think that's right. Yep, Regenerative Orchards, welcome in, and thank you very much. Let's see here. Nito says, between the solstice, blowing sand, and cloudy days, not too good right now. Have one mostly sunny in the next week, and the rest is cloudy. Battery's not collecting enough, so went back on grid. Well, 2 things. First, I'm glad that you have options. But, you know, these are the lessons, Nitos, that we've learned over the years. You know, we'll talk about this actually some tonight. We went from, you know, a small system with a couple batteries and grew it, and then ended up having to replace it with the grid downs, all of that good stuff. And, you know, we would have a couple times during the year where we wouldn't have any power. You know, it would be literally lanterns, right?
Yes.
And we've grown the system to where I think we're done with red days over the years. But
yeah, it has been something else. It has been game changer.
Yes. See, Matthew says, Wyatt is looking for a job down here in our area so he can save money and work towards buying a vehicle to replace the old truck that he had when acquiring the property to start his own farming enterprise. I love that. CAK Amber, how are you? AK Amber says, happy solstice tag and B from Francis Marion National Forest. I'm spending solstice camping under the stars and playing drums with my friends and family. How wonderful. How absolutely wonderful. I love that. Scotch says they're in California. Says this week is summer and next week is rain, they say. Tag, I'll send you a video of the games we play as a family at our family get-together. Big laugh. I would love that. Anito says we're learning. Amen to that. Hey, Kat, welcome in. Good evening, everyone. A little late getting here tonight, but finally made it. You made it just in time. So anyway, so let's tell the story of Life Done Free, and not from a why do I have a YouTube channel, none of that, but how the journey started here, learning to homestead. Because I'm going to tell you guys something. We came into it not knowing a lot. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
You know, B had gardened. You know, she was a gardener and a canner. You know, before, but neither of us had ever lived off grid.
Right.
Right. I had animals as a kid. I grew up on a horse ranch. And so we had goats sometimes and cows sometimes, but mainly around horses. But you had no animal experience, correct?
Oh, a couple dogs. But we heated our house with wood.
Yeah.
And we gardened and canned and stuff like that. So I had that kind of background.
So would you say we were equipped?
No.
To homestead?
No, but we also didn't know what we were getting ourselves into.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's been quite the journey. And this might look like a crazy picture. That's actually me walking away there with my granddaughter. But this is where it all began. And the very first thing we did on our property once we bought it is I built a steel fence around my property like this. And then it's got woven wire on it to stop the animals from getting out. And I found a big truckload of steel out of Texas and just started building a fence. But for me, the fence was really, really important because I knew what I was about to do was bring out a skid loader, bring out a bunch of tools, right? Bring out a whole bunch of stuff as we attempted to build, at the time, a shop with just a little apartment in it, right at the time. So that we could come out here and work on the weekends. But what do you remember about that?
We were going to build your shop or a shop back in the back. It was a Quonset hut. He says,
I have pictures of that.
He says it was a $500 building.
Yeah, maybe we'll get to that. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. He talked me into this $500 building that he could put up easy peasy.
Yeah, this was a sign that this would not be an easy journey. I found a Quonset hut, a 20 by 30 Quonset hut.
And it had been put together before. And I found it on Craigslist for $500. And I thought, this is going to work great. I'll go out. I'll pour a concrete foundation. I'll put a Quonset hut in. It'll give me a place to put my tools. I'll build a little apartment in the back of it so that we have somewhere to stay when we come out here until we build our house. Because at the time, my house was going to be in a whole other part of the property. Yes.
But this is actually the exact place my house is.
This was just a place to park the skid loader. And so when you put up one of these buildings, and he wanted to pour the concrete first. So we poured the concrete and thinking that the walls were going to go up a certain amount of feet and then it was going to start arching in. So we had to like bring toilet lines in to accommodate for this half stub wall, because you can't like, tuck yourself back
it can be
into
angled.
a corner.
Yeah.
And so the toilets were farther away from the walls than what a standard toilet would be. Just certain, quite a few, like the kitchen plumbing was also like that. So like when it didn't pan out and we went to a square building.
Well, let's tell that story though, because that's really important. So this Quonset hut, I actually had up about 10 feet of it. And I just, for the life of me, could not get the thing bolted back together. I fought it. I sat out here for 2 weeks trying to get this Quonset hut together. But you got to remember too, back at this time, there wasn't a big community, right?
No, it was just us.
It was just us. And so
we had a couple of friends who were helping here and there.
Sure. But what I'm saying is there wasn't a big community to come over when big machinery and all this stuff that, the blessings that we have today. Real quick, Nancy Coast, how are you? Nancy is a superstar. That's Buffalo Seed Company.
Yes.
And so,
welcome.
Yeah, anybody interested in adapted seeds to the Midwest region, great place to go. We grow Nancy Coast, all kinds of things still to this day, right?
Yeah.
So the Buffalo Seed Company, you can find them at the Buffalo Seed Company on the internet. And then, of course, Citizens Broadcaster, welcome in. We're telling the story of how we got where we are from a homesteading perspective. So anyway, I put this building up, started to put it up, and after 2 weeks, I was losing my temper and my patience. And so I grabbed a chain, I tied it around the top of the Quonset hut, I drove my skid loader up to it and yanked it to the ground.
Yeah. And then he sent me a text and said, how do you feel if I tear this down and start over? And I was like, I don't know about that. Maybe we should try something else. And he said, here's the deal. I have so many man hours in it already. I can't get past this stage. The bolts aren't marrying up. I can't get the bolts in because it won't because it was put together and then taken apart.
Wasn't numbered when it was taken apart. It was just piled.
We're just trying to, get pieces to fit together. They just weren't marrying up like they should. It was not easy. And when you're 22 feet up in the air on a homemade scaffolding,
I think I did a good job on my scaffolding, I might say.
The obstacle was large. So trying to get over it was impossible. So I finally said, okay, let's talk about it. Let's go ahead and look into pricing on walls, because if we're not going to use this $500 building, we can't put up a building for $500. So what's that going to cost? And he goes, well, let's do this first. And when he said, I've already done it. I said, well, let's do this first. And he said, I've already done it. And I was like, you've already done what? And he goes, I've already torn it down. And I was like, you already tore it down? How? What'd you do? And he was like, oh, I just tied a rope to it and yanked it down. And I'm like, okay. So like you knew where we were headed with this in the first place then. And he was like, well, I can't get it. I can't get it. So like plan B, and then plan B.
Then plan B. Right? Oh, I should have had them in the door.
Yeah.
So this
came first.
Yeah, this was the original footing and plumbing for the Quonset hut. Right, this is what I was going to set the Quonset hut on. Then I ripped it down, and so then I had to adapt a wooden structure to where the plumbing and everything was in a Quonset hut.
Yeah.
Right? Which means that my hopes of having that toilet perfectly centered in that opening is probably done, right?
Right.
Because at this point, the plumbing's not movable, right? It is where it is. But
well, and this right here, our plan was to put the skid loader, park the skid loader in the front, and then have a little cabin in the back. That was what this was for.
Yeah, but sometimes plans change. So we went on to begin to dig some footings. And this is actually my dad. This is actually one of my favorite moments. although it hurt my stomach probably the most. That's my dad. He's passed now, but in the driver's seat. And look at how buried he got that thing. I rented this excavator to dig in water lines and things like that. And when I got done, I had some extra time, and my dad said, "Hey, I'll come over. What do you want me to do?" I said, "Well, we're going to build a pond over here. Why don't you go down there and dig stumps up?" Because I'd already cut a bunch of the trees off about waist high. "Why don't you go dig some of those stumps up for me?" He said, "Okay." Next thing I know, I go down there and he's buried. This was $6,800 in damage that was done to this excavator. And
yeah, you could see him out the front window.
Oh, right, yeah, glass broken, all kinds of stuff. And you guys can see the bulldozer in the second picture. I actually had to get a bulldozer in to get it out.
And the bulldozer had to come across our neighbor's field to get to this particular location because he was on
the wrong side.
Yeah, he was on the north side of that. So where that mud is, apparently it was real soggy. And he was thinking that, well, now in the end, he thought, okay, so there must be like some kind of like spring or something underneath there, which doesn't allow the dirt to, there's no solid dirt. So then when he went in there, it was like just mush. And the bulldozer couldn't get to him from the south side because of he couldn't get to him. So he had to come from the north side, which means he had to come from our neighbor's field. So he had to contact the neighbor, ask to get through the fence, and then drive his bulldozer across the guy's field, which a lot of farmers, they don't like that.
Yeah, you guys can see the stumps that are in the background, right? Those are the half-cut stumps he was supposed to be digging out. But believe it or not, I mean, so if you go back, me and B started our journey by ripping down a Quonset hut and $6,800 in damage to an excavator that we rented was the beginning of our homestead journey.
Yeah.
How romantic.
No, I remember at this part in our journey, I called the neighbor, and I felt I was like sick to my stomach, and I called the neighbor and I was like, "I need you, buddy." And he was like, "What's the deal?" And I was like, told him what was going on, and he was like, "Okay, let me see what I can do." And then, shortly thereafter, we hear equipment, and it's getting louder and louder and louder, and it was like, da 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 da. Like, here comes the rescue from this 70s bulldozer.
Yeah. Well, after this was done and we got this thing all the way out, I spent the next week cleaning it. It took me forever to get all the mud out from that thing. But what a great way to start a homesteading journey. You agree?
No, it was very scary.
I miss my dad.
Yeah.
But so here's the exact same pad I just showed you guys. Right, this was pod 1 of our house.
Yep. And
there again, standing with my granddaughter and just putting the first walls up, and you'll probably notice that those aren't just. One second here. What'd you say? I have seen where another excavator needed to dig one out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was quite fun.
Takes one to dig one.
Yeah. Takes one to dig one. Right. But it was cool. And so we, licked our wounds. And as you can see in the first picture, we just began to build. You actually see the Quonset hut back behind it where it's stacked. See it back there?
Yeah.
In that opening?
And this was at the point where he was like, okay, so if we're going to use wood, what do you want? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you want? And he was like, I don't know. Do you want like a second level? And I was like, yes, let's do a second level. Like the whole thing would have a second level. And he was like, well, yeah, because it's no longer, half round on top. You don't have these side walls that are real short. Because upstairs on a Quonset hut, the walls are angled. So with a squared off wall, you can have an entire second level, even a third level if you wanted. You just can't have a basement, right?
So you can see in the second picture over, we ended up being 2-story.
Yeah.
And that's just me building. And this was pod 1. And this was a place, again, we were going to park the skid loader. Our plans had not changed.
Yeah.
Good place to put my tools as we continue to build. And then we would go and build the house at another location. And, that plan changed when the tax man decided to stop by and said, "Oh, no, that's way too nice for a shed. That's way too nice."
Well, it was, it had house windows and a deck on it.
And a deck. And so they said,
and
no,
that's right. No garages have house windows and a shed and a deck. But there we parked the skid loader in this building.
Yep.
That pipe that's sticking up out of the floor in that room is just a drain in case, he comes in and there's snow all over it. He can pull it in as though, snow melts. It goes right down into the drain. Just a normal garage.
Yeah, this is a funny comment. This is pod 1. You can see my skid loader in there. See the green tracks? I bought that skid loader from a golf course. Then it went bankrupt. And it had slick green tracks on it. They were the coolest things ever. Eventually, I wore them out and had to replace them. But Squatchy says, oh, wait, here we go. Skipped one. Tag, you at least did a sketch before you started, right? Yeah, no, I did not draw a blueprint for my house.
It was just a square. It was a garage. We were gonna put the skid loader over there.
Yeah, this wasn't supposed to be a house yet. You got to remember that, right? This was a place to park my stuff, a place for us to stay while we were out here, kind of a cabin, and then eventually we would go on to build another house.
You can see the back trusses are going up.
Rafters,
Trusses.
rafters. Yep. Yeah, Gregory says it's amazing how fast plans can change. Yep. And Squatchy says my sketches end up changing my mind a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, again, all I wanted was 4 walls and a plant shelf and a place to put my skid loader, right? A place that we could lay on a cot.
Well, you wanted to put your tools up.
Yeah, I don't want them
not
stolen.
leave them out. And I was like,
I don't want them stolen.
Yeah.
Those.
That's why the Quonset, a $500 building was like, okay, we could do this. Yeah, we could do this. And then the $500 building turned into $4,000. That was just the building, not like
Yeah, you couldn't even touch that for 10 years.
anything in it. No drywall or,
No finish, anything.
Yeah. No insulation. It's just the walls dried in.
And this time there's no power. So everything's, you can see my little generator out there. So everything, all the batteries are being charged. Everything is being done by a generator. But the good news is I can get my stuff out of the rain at this point.
Yeah.
Right? This was a big level
as
up.
soon as you get a roof on.
Yeah, but still there's plywood on that second floor. It's out of the rain.
Ah, that's true.
Could get dripped on a little, but it's,
That's true.
pretty much out of the rain.
Yeah. Because it was getting dripped on. It wasn't like still waterproof up there.
Nope. And so that was weather tight pod 1.
Yep.
And you guys can see the garage door in the front. My skid loader's in there.
Yeah.
Now, later on in this live tonight, when I show you guys my house today, you can see where that garage door was. Now, obviously, I hit it with a couple windows and some,
some pretty rock.
Yeah, some pretty rock and stuff. But if you look close, you'll still see that's where it was. You can see on the right-hand side of pod 1, I'm beginning to build Bee's greenhouse. And that was important to be quick because she wanted to get the garden, start getting plants in and doing those kind of things, the things that she loves. So I found some hockey glass out of a hockey rink, and it's it's good stuff. It's tempered, and that's about 3/8 of an inch thick and 4x8 sheets. And I bought them for like $50 a piece. And I thought, you want to talk about what'll make a hell-proof roof for a greenhouse? Give me hockey rink glass.
Yeah.
And
it was heavy. It was hard getting them up there.
Yeah. And if you can see that little building starting to go up on the right-hand side. So what I did when I was pouring the foundation for pod 1, any leftover concrete, I kept adding to a pad right over here.
It's like a patch.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of different pours that make the pad up. But I did that because instead of pouring it on the ground, I'm pouring it somewhere.
Yeah. Well, because at this point in time, we had no other buildings. We had no other projects. We had nothing else going on. Nowhere to pour extra concrete.
Yep. This is what turned into the powerhouse. And, as you guys can see, you don't see it finished yet, but what that ends up being is the house where all the brains for the solar system was to run. And then the other half of that building we just used for storage, where I could put a lawnmower and things like that.
Yeah, at this point in time, we didn't even have scaffolding. We were doing everything with either 2x4 scaffolding that you were building or ladders.
Yeah, I wish I had a picture of it. I probably do somewhere, but when I was up there doing this, I had scaffolding hand built all the way around that building that I could walk around.
So we could do the soffit and fascia.
So you could do the soffits and fascia for the building. But at this point, it's not sided or anything, but heck, it's weather tight, which means my stuff's really dry.
Yeah.
And if we had to stay out here, if the shit hit the fan or whatever it was and we needed a place to go, we would have shelter.
Yeah. And this is a 22-foot at the peak.
About 22 feet at the peak. And the pod 1 was 20 by 30.
Yeah. only because that's the Kwanzaa
Kwanzaa
size that he got, and
Right.
so we built the pad to fit the building.
And again, you guys got to remember at this point, this wasn't going to be a house. This
No.
was, this was going to be a little cabin, and we were going to get to it at another time.
Yeah, this was not going to be pod 1. We were not going to build onto it. It was just a place
Yeah.
for the skid loader.
Yeah. Until the tax man again came out and said, nope, that's a house.
Right.
I said, but I don't have a sewer. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have this. I don't have
I don't
that.
have electricity, dude.
Yeah. I didn't have any power. I didn't have anything. Anyway, so that's kind of what changed the plans.
Yeah.
Just looking at it from another view.
That's it. Look, all the trees in the backyard and,
Yeah.
and full forest.
Yeah.
Just this little house in the middle of the woods.
Yeah. Really cool. What great memories. You can see there's those 4x8 sheets of hockey glass. That's the top of B's greenhouse. And I used those big sheets, and then the rest of the area I just filled in with other glass and things like that. But this ultimately would create the place where B to this day grows all her starts for the gardens and
Yep.
everything, and blesses a lot of other homesteads with it. And,
And I dry our clothes in there.
and
And
I dry her clothes in there. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yep, there's the back deck that made it a house.
Yeah, because I put that deck on back there, because upstairs on the back half of the building there was a bedroom up there, and then underneath there was a kitchen and a bathroom. Right at this point there was no plumbing, but it was planned for a bathroom.
Yeah. It was 300 square feet,
Yeah,
guys. The kitchen, bathroom, living room was 300 square feet.
Right. So it was pretty.
And then
pretty
that
small.
bedroom upstairs was 300 square feet.
Yeah. Gregory wants to know, did you ever feel like you were building a Remington house? No, I didn't, but it has been pointed out to me several times I should have.
Yeah.
Yep. Man, that was a long time ago, babe.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Just a Tyvek house.
Yep. And so obviously you go on with siding and, get those things up. And as you guys can see from those who have seen my house, now it's starting to make sense, right?
Yep.
Again, though, this is still pod 1, and I had to get everything sided. And so now I'm really locked in for the winter, right? It's all sided. All the windows are in, the roof's on, everything's in. Although I could really use some gravel.
Yes. When it was dry, it was fine.
Yep.
After a snow or a rain, it was very muddy.
Yeah, we would actually, I think I got a slide in here on it. We would park up at the road, and you guys have to understand my driveway is 1,600 feet long. This is a long ways back in the woods. You can't see this from the road. And so we would park up at the top at the gate, and we will walk back down
Yeah.
here to go to work. Because again, you're trying to budget the whole time, and you're trying to fund it the whole time. And at the end of the day, we weren't going to take a loan out.
Right.
And so it was just feeding the beast.
Back then, a load of rock was like $400.
Yeah, it's $1,000 today.
I know.
Yep. This was just, 5 years ago, guys. Go from $400 for a load of rock to over $1,000 for a load of rock. That is the world we are living in. The good news is you better be proud of the 1,000, because very, very quickly it's going to be 1,500.
I was going to say it'll be double.
Pete says, talk about row your boat gently down the stream.
Mm-hmm.
This was super, super cool, though. These were good memories.
Yep. My homemade door.
Yep, that's right. That's me.
It slid in front of the other door.
Yeah. So this is a.
There was no other way to do it,
Yeah,
right?
it was plywood. It was just a garage door made of plywood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to kind of get us locked up, because you're always, I'm sure this is true for a lot of you guys, a lot of times you're chasing the weather. Winter's coming, winter's coming, winter's coming, winter's coming, winter's coming, get it in, get it tight. But so this here was probably one of my favorite projects, was building the stairs that come down off the top up there, because they turned. I've never built curved stairs before. I wasn't even sure how to build curved stairs. It took me a while to get the concept in my head. But look how brand new that wood looks.
I know. It does not look like that now.
No, it doesn't.
It is very much weathered.
Yes.
And it's been painted several times.
Yep.
I'm not very happy with the way paint turned out. Like, seems to chip.
Yeah. You're supposed to use primer.
Yeah, even when you use primer, it still chips. Because the wood's wet.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the greenhouse, you can see those green windows that are in the front. I got them off of a job site. If you guys are looking for windows, if you go to any of the siding window companies, they throw these away. These are windows that come out of houses. They put
And
new
now we
windows in.
know why.
Yeah, and they just throw them away. Then they rotted pretty quick in the greenhouse, and
Yeah.
actually I broke a couple with a lawnmower once too. But
Yeah.
but this was a good day for me. I really had to push my brain to try to understand how. It's not as if you guys can see it, but like on the first set of stairs going up, if you look underneath it, you can actually see the treads for the stairs spinning, and that was definitely a big challenge for me.
The windows on the back deck are also repurposed.
Yes,
from
the windows.
another project
That's
from
right.
somebody else's house.
That's right. Yeah,
When
I'll
we-
never do that again. But
Yeah, we had people who were like, "We're getting new windows. Would you like our old ones for your house?" And we're like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
we'll take your old windows and put them in our brand new house."
yep. So the very first piece of infrastructure that we installed was this black tank, and this black tank sits way up off the ground. I just welded out of the same pipe I built the fence with. I welded a stand so it could sit up there, so I could have gravity fed water. We ran the gutters into the tank, and this would do two things for us. One, as B gets closer and closer to getting her plants and her, being able to do that, it would give her water.
Yeah.
But it also gave us water. And
Yeah.
because at this time we have no power, no water, we have nothing out here, no utilities
fire,
whatsoever.
We have
Right.
no this. This is our water.
This is our water right here.
We
This is
don't have a toilet or anything to
Not yet.
flush, but
not
this,
yet.
This is the water for
Yep.
everything.
When I plumbed this tank in, I ran a line into the house into one toilet. So there's one toilet in my house to this day that I can shut the well off of and just turn this gravity tank on. So it takes no power to run. So if I want to, I can turn this on, and it really works fine. It just fills slower.
Yeah.
It don't fill up as fast as it does like from the well or like
Because there's no pump. It's just gravity.
Right. The other rainwater system we have is a pump. And so it would fill up quick too. But this is just gravity. But I just thought it'd be nice to have a way to fill up a toilet
Well, the flush,
without any
yeah.
power, that you would have that.
She's a flushing toilet. When you don't have a flushing toilet is just marvelous.
Yeah. So for those of you who are out there, even, people that are in our community who are living in a tiny house without a flushing toilet or without running water or whatever, just know that it will pass. Right. And, we were in the exact same spot until I put this black tank in. We were bringing out big 5-gallon jugs of water to wash our hands and to do those kinds of
Water
things.
trees.
Right. Because we just didn't have any infrastructure in. And so, but this was a proud moment for me. It was really hard getting that tank up there. I carried that tank
Yes.
up a ladder to put that tank up on that stand.
It was, yes, my arms were shaking. It was everything I had.
That's
And
cool.
he was under, so I was up on top of the stand pulling, and he was down underneath the tank
pushing.
and I was like, I cannot let this go like on top of him. like and he's down there, Paul, and I'm like, but okay, and it actually looks like the tank is very like touching that handrail, but it is not. I mean, there's like 2 feet between there.
Mhm.
So, to try to like brace myself up on this, not really the platform, because I need the tank to go on the platform. So I need to be off of the platform, but hold myself up there.
Mhm.
It was stressful.
Gregory said that was one of his first projects on CAD, was drawing a spiral staircase. It was super challenging. And Gypsy says, "What's a flushing toilet?" It's a luxury,
Yes.
reserved for royalty.
The throne.
Yeah. The good news is that once we had that tank, we could take a shower.
Yeah.
And
That's still there today.
it's still there today. Yep. So I built a shower outside, so B and I at the end of the day could shower. And we showered outside under the deck right by that tank for a little while.
And it was a guessing. I mean, at 5, you can't shower at 5 o'clock because that water is so hot it'll burn your skin off.
Yep.
But if you shower at 9 o'clock at night, it is way too cold.
It's freezing. Right.
So you have to shower like it was like 6:30.
Yeah. But if you did, you had a nice warm shower.
It was not too bad. And it, the first couple nights I'm like, we're gonna shower outside. Are you crazy? And he's like, look around. There is nobody out here. And I'm like, you're outside. No. He's like, seriously, there's like, you can't see a house for nothing. There's just trees. I'm like, I don't know, just feels so wrong. We were hanging out outside naked on the back deck. And he's like, you're just showering, Bethany.
We actually got a baby pool from Dollar General to stand in.
Underneath it.
Yep, underneath it. And that's how we showered. Yeah, Gregory has it exactly right. He says you guys were glamping.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look, I had a filter on my shower.
That's right. You did have a filter on your shower, didn't you? The next picture on the right is when we first got the first water actually running in the house. And I just did a very quick system just to get us water.
I forgot you had the tank up there.
Remember? Yeah, because this was just, none of that was all built.
Yeah.
And so what I was doing is just trying to get us running water so you could wash a dish.
Yeah.
So we could flush a toilet. And so I put a quick one together, and that was our first sense of actually having running water. At this point, we didn't have hot water,
Right.
but we had running water.
Yeah, you could flush a toilet, which is, again, so nice. That is so nice.
Yeah, I know a lot of people in the audience tonight completely understand. And it's every one of these little things was just a complete morale booster. You know, like, hey, we got another thing. We got, that next step of being a little bit freer and, a little more comfortable and feeling a little more normal, after, not having to shower outside.
Were you all like, look?
Yeah, actually more, believe it or not, I was looking for you to do it.
Look what you have created.
No, looking for you to be excited to say, okay, it was worth my effort,
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, but Carrie Davis says our Airbnb has a outdoor shower. It's popular. So that's what I thought too. I thought, how cool is this? We are out in the middle of nowhere. There's nobody here. We can sing in the rain, right?
That's just not something that I've been used to.
Yeah.
You shower at the beach with your bathing suit on.
Mm-hmm.
You rinse yourself off. Totally different.
Well, I could argue that it's not, but bathing suits don't hide anything. They just change the color. Just saying.
Oh,
so you'll shower in your underwear at a beach with 1,000 people can see you, but you don't want to shower without any clothes on out in the middle of the woods where nobody can see you. That makes perfect sense.
It did.
Well, it's completely logical.
It made way sense.
Logical.
Way more sense.
Yeah, logical. And then the greenhouse was done, and B got to start planting plants. That was pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
I don't even know what all those are. There's probably tomatoes in the middle.
Yeah, basil.
Basil, what else?
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes, basil.
Yeah.
Those are some kind of pumpkin or something.
No, it looks like a hollyhock.
Watermelon. That right there.
Yeah.
Okay. You would know better than I.
Well, and too, because of the pots, what the pots look like. That's what it told me that it was.
Yeah. So that's where we were. And so for us, the next year was really about trying to level up and, trying to get some power, right? Power was going to be a big thing for us.
Well, because we were taking those batteries back and forth to the house.
Yep. So that's me, and I am leveling poles for our first solar system, and my solar panels. Oh, that's so crazy! You look out there. There's nothing. If you were standing right there, you'd be seeing chicken coop, barn. You'd be seeing shipping containers. You'd be seeing all gardens.
You can see where the driveway stopped.
Yep.
At that point
look at that. You guys up in that picture, you can see that where that white stops up there. That's how far we had graveled down the driveway, right? Because you just
at that time.
Yep. But this is me getting ready to put solar in, and all I'm doing is building the mounts. It looks like I'm leveling them or something like that over there, and then concrete them in the ground, and eventually get some solar panels up.
And at this point in time, we were really just shoeboxing money until we could afford something.
Right.
It was like save, blow it all. Save, gravel.
Right.
Save, solar system. So it was like we were just nickel and diming the homestead the whole way. Like, we got $1,000. It was like the 1999. We got $1,000. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna get gravel? Are we gonna get that? Are we gonna get this? What about that? What about this? And so it was the gravel all the way to the house didn't happen for quite some time because,
Well, it never
We
really
were-
ends either.
well, right.
So
It-
to say
it-
it happens,
You bury
I'm
it
still buying gravel for the driveway. Have been for
5 years.
ever. Yep. And as you can see, I don't know how well you guys can see that, but you can see as I got the mounts welded together. And this is for the first 18 panels. And again, I just used field pipe out of Texas, and then I got some angle iron and some tube metal. And you can see in the background, the powerhouse just got the roof on it. I didn't notice that before.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And I just take my generator out, my welder out, work my way around it. And I thought I'd be smart and I'd make these panels all move quarterly. So I would have 4 positions in them, and so that I could move it to the 4 positions. And you know what's funny? I've never moved them.
No, we can though.
We can, but I just never have.
And it's
So
not hard.
no, but that was a lot of work getting them to move.
Yeah.
It'd have been a whole lot easier just to make this thing stationary. Right? I mean, it would have been a lot easier to make it stationary. So that's what they looked like. You can see the one all the way on the right. I don't have the panels on it yet, but that's my first attempt at solar mounts.
And the powerhouse has siding on it.
Powerhouse,
Now. Well,
well,
it
some
was
siding.
wrapped.
Some siding. Yep, because I'm going to run all of the power ultimately all the way to that powerhouse is where the power would go. But I think it's cool as you can see the burn barrels behind, because we were burning up a lot of scrap from building, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that stuff. Some of it we split up into kindling, but there's a lot of it that got burned. Because if you can imagine the amount of it, pretty cool.
There's a lot of debris.
Yep. But this would be a game changer for us because all of a sudden we'd have lights, right?
We would.
We would have lights. And lights are a game changer, especially trying to work at night. This is the second row that I built. This had 10 panels. So I have 28 panels on this system. This is just getting them all wired in and stuck together. And so we could have power. This was our first solar system, remember?
Yeah.
Yep. And I just took a picture of the screen that we would monitor. It's so crazy how technology advances and those kind of things. At the time, this was, top end solar stuff. And now I look at the screen, I'm like, man, they don't tell you nothing.
Well,
Yeah.
all we were watching was if we had full batteries. I mean, at
Right.
least then you could see you could see what's going on.
Right.
You could see if you're charging, you can see what you're bringing in, you can see
Yep.
what your house is using, you can see where your levels are, your battery levels. So, I mean, what we needed, it was doing what we needed.
Yes. We started with 2 batteries and 1 inverter. And this system ended with 3 inverters and 10 batteries. And then we had the battery meltdown issue, which come later in the story. But all of a sudden we had power, which again gave us lights, gave us a television, gave us a computer, gave us charging capacity, right?
Yeah.
To charge the batteries.
That's a big deal.
That was a big deal,
Because
right?
you built the whole entire place on battery powered drills,
Yes,
battery
and
powered
a generator.
every
Yeah.
skill saw.
Yeah.
Literally a skill saw, and because you didn't get your table saw until for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, though, it gave us a refrigerator,
Yeah,
which was, I remember that was a
that
pretty
was a
big
game
deal.
changer.
Yeah. Because you could actually keep stuff cool.
Because
know?
before that, I was bringing a cooler every day with all of our foods. If it was winter and we had a wood stove going, I would bring like sandwiches wrapped in tin foil and we'd just throw them on the stove or on the wood burning stove. There's a couple times I tried to cook stuff in a pan on there and it worked fine. We were able to eat hot meals.
Hey, Salty Dog, welcome in, and DePlatt, welcome in. Salty Dog, that the system I'm showing was years ago. We've actually upgraded the whole thing since then. I'm going to show some pictures here in a little bit. This is actually the old system. All right, where are we at here, Pumpkin? We're doing on time. Next for me came my shop, and can you believe after everything I went through with the Quonset hut, I'd buy another Quonset hut?
Right.
This one was brand new. And I had a whole lot more confidence in being able to put up a brand new one. We eventually got it up. It actually didn't take long. It wasn't bad. I didn't think. And this is actually my workshop now. And the back half of it is a wood shop. Not half, third. The back third of it is a wood shop. And the front 2/3 is my mechanic shop. And so I spend a lot of time out here and not nowhere near enough time because
Look how big that looks.
yeah, it's massive. It's 40 by 70, and I got a really good deal on it. Someone had ordered it and didn't take it, And so they let me keep the deposit that they had originally put in. So I got it for 60 cents on the dollar. And then I had to put it up. So we had to pour the concrete and put it up. But I really need a shop. I mean, I build a lot of things. And as you guys, as the years goes on, you'll see I'm always building something, right?
Yeah.
Let me see here. Salty Dog says, right, that's what I'm talking about, the updated one. Oh, yes, got it. Hey, Lindsay Freeze, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. What we're doing, Salty Dog, DePlatt, and Lindsay, we're talking about the journey that got us where we're at. So we're just kind of covering the last 6 years.
Look at this guy.
5 years. Isn't that cool? Super cool. All right. And then B got a stove. How did that change your life?
Yeah, I like that. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Why is there like white stuff all over it?
I don't know. Maybe you need to wash it more.
No. Yeah, the stove, we upgraded from the single firebox to a firebox and oven.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Gregory says, what company, if you wish to say, what company for what? And I'm happy to say.
Grid Down.
Yeah, so this is a Kitchen Queen Grand Comfort 750. And I tried to talk B into let me go ahead and run a gas line in. Let me give you at least a gas stove too, so that you don't just have to cook on wood. And she was committed. She's like, nope, I'm going to learn to do this. And now you guys know that is now grown into wood cooking, right?
Yeah.
And do you like it?
Yeah, I'm used to it now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as scary as it used to be. I've learned how, where the hot spots are on the top and how to get the fire going to where I can actually start baking. But yeah, it does take more time.
Yep. Yep. And the picture on the right was my well. And you might say that's not a well. No, well, if you actually look, the well's all the way in the back. You can see the pipe sticking out of the ground. But unfortunately, my well was 2.5 gallons a minute. And so it wasn't enough water to run the house. I didn't feel. So what we did is we trenched the well to a holding tank. That's a 1,750 gallon holding tank. So my well pumps the water into a holding tank, and then there's another pump in the holding tank that pumps it into the house. That way it can work to it, and I don't have to worry about taking a shower and running out of water. And the system's been great for us. We've had no problems.
Yeah,
it does what it's supposed to do, and we've never run out of water. And Gregory says the Quonset has. I don't remember what the brand name is. I'll see if I can find it for you though, bud.
They were out of Canada though, because they had to ship it down on a truck. The Canada.
Yeah. Salty Dog says, yep, good video choice to show the evolution of Tag and B. My wife watches religiously, so I'm catching bunches of your videos. Good stuff. Secondhand Tag and B. Thank you much. But I will look up what brand that is. Let's see here. So then here's where the adventure begins, right? And you guys can see in the two pictures, the picture all the way on the right is when I began Pod 2. Pod 2 was going to be a living room because in our current setup, we had a kitchen and a living room in one room, and it was super small. And so I wanted another living room, but also B wanted a laundry room. She wanted another bathroom, and then we wanted to add another bedroom. So we added Pods 2 and Pod 3 and just stuck them right on the side. And then there's some things that allow you to do this if you're building that makes it much easier. The first thing is tall sidewalls. Because I have tall sidewalls, I can tie into them super, super easy without having to remove the roof or tie into the roof.
Yeah.
Right. Which also makes it just a little bit less expensive. But in that first picture, that door that's open, that's the front door of my house today. And boy, does it look different, doesn't it?
Yes, it sure does.
It really looks different. That's super, super cool. Yep. And then you can see again the second picture over, the picture on the right. That's after the house wrap was on it. And you guys can see the level 3, which is where we're sitting here talking to you guys tonight in the second picture, right? That is what we call it the crow's nest. But that's where we're sitting tonight, is in that top room, sitting here talking to you. And in the first picture, you can see where I was building it. I was actually working on the fireplace coming up, and then we were going to stand the walls up there to the crow's nest. Do you have any stories about walls and the crow's nest?
That's where you made me cry.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you hit me and made me cry.
Come on now.
No, so on left side there where that ladder is propped up, where the black truck is in the front of the building. There's a ladder propped up against the side of that wall, that side wall there. Or how far down is that from the
20 feet.
level 4? Yeah, that is about 20 feet. So we were trying to stand the walls on that where the ladder is, and there's nothing there. I mean, you're falling all the way down to the ground there. So when we were standing the walls of that top room there, he's like, just hold that wall there. And I mean, it's not screwed to anything, right? And the wind was blowing like 23 miles an hour. And so you think like, oh, 23 miles, that's not big. We get 100-mile-an-hour whatever winds. And you're like, yeah, 23 miles an hour when you're 3 stories up and there's nothing holding the wall on the building. And then he's like, hey, hold that. And I'm like, no. Where are you going? And he's like, I got to go get something to brace the wall. And I'm like, you're going somewhere to get something to brace the wall? And he's like, just give me a minute. Just hang on. And I'm like, what if I can't hold it? And he's like, just hold it. And I'm like, what if I can't? And he's like, just hold it. And I'm like, by this time I'm crying. And he's like, what, are you crying? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm scared. He's like, oh my gosh. So yeah, he went and he got some 2x4s and secured them to the sides of the wall and ran them down and braced the wall. And so that
everything was fine, wasn't
it? He could go get some redheads and screw them down. But
everything was fine, right?
I mean, it is now, but it wasn't then.
But everything was fine. All you had to do is exactly what I told you to do, which is hold the wall.
Don't drop it. Don't drop it.
Yeah, Jen says with a heart Panzer that we're going to talk about him a little bit tonight. He was a good dog. He is no longer with us, but he was something exceptional. This was great for me, I thought. I love having my office up here. We do lives when I talk to you, but I run 2 businesses out of this office all the time. I spend a lot of time up here. And what's really cool is I can see everywhere. When Bee's in the garden, I can watch over her and keep an eye on her and protect her. And, when Bee's at the food forest or with the animals, I can see her, I can watch her, and I can protect her. And I like that a lot. You do?
Yeah.
If someone's keeping an eye on you?
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll get in trouble if she's not watched.
You can't see it from here, but it looks the house is just slightly downhill from where the dog is standing.
Yeah. Which is why we built those steps and those planting boxes ultimately.
We had some significant issues with water coming towards the house there.
Yep. And so as you guys can see in the first picture, getting it up in house wrap, I built a bay window out on the front.
It's a Rapunzel window.
Yeah, we call it the Rapunzel room, actually, that room right there.
That's where she lets her hair down.
Yeah, that's where she lets her hair down. Yep. And
then you're starting the scaffolding over there on that chimney.
Yeah, if you look on the second picture, I'm beginning to build scaffolding on the roof up there because we're going to have to put rock on that chimney. And so I was building it. And do you think I built good scaffolding?
Yeah, I suppose it didn't go anywhere. It was sketchy. It moved a bit.
It did the job, though, didn't it?
But it was there. Yeah.
Did it ever fall?
No, it didn't fall.
Okay.
It just wiggled a bit.
Yep. Squatchy says, don't forget about creeping her as well.
Creeping her?
Yeah. Hey, David, what's up? It says, makes a good turret. Yeah, you can see a long way from that top room up there. That I can absolutely see my driveway, where if someone was to pull up to my driveway, there's a locked gate, but I'll know they're there. And I actually end up putting security in for that exact reason in a little bit. In the second picture, you can also see there's another building being built right there on the side, and that's Bee's shop, because Bee has lots of equipment and lots of stuff too. And so,
a place to put the trash cans.
Well, and your UTV and your canning jars and so.
Couple shovels.
Salty Dog says, you all are doing and done great stuff. Look at that. My buddy Mo Engineer's in the house. What's up, Mo? What we're doing is we're talking about the last 6 years. And just kind of how it's all gone along the way. So we're just kind of talking about the journey. But this was a good place to be right here, because this means that I'm closing in on a living room and a laundry room, right?
Yep.
I'm closing in on a pantry and a bathroom, and I'm closing in on an office, because ultimately someone has to be able to make enough money to pay for all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So being able to actually work was a great thing too.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah. Because we were blowing our savings like crazy.
We built our house cheap compared.
Oh, absolutely. We shopped around. We got, truckloads of this and that, used windows here and there. It's crazy how too, they don't take that into consideration when you go to pay your taxes.
No, that doesn't matter. I actually pay taxes on my labor because I built it all. They tax me at replacement value, at the appraised value. And so I'm actually paying taxes on my labor.
Which just doesn't seem right.
No, it doesn't. In the far right picture, guys, you'll see pod 1, pod 2, and pod 3. Ultimately, there ended up being 4 pods, right? Which we'll obviously get to that. But yeah, this is why I built my house in pods. Now you guys kind of know Mo says sure beats the Quonset hut.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Although our taxes would have been cheaper if we were living in the Quonset hut.
Don't say that to Mo. Did you know he harasses me all the time about that?
What?
If you'd have just built smaller.
If we were living in the Quonset hut.
Yeah. So since we're talking about that, I'll share with you guys. You guys know why my house is so big? Because by the time the fourth pod's on, it's 5,000 square feet. The reason why I did that is because I believe my kids are coming home. I believe that someday their wife, and their 1.3 kids will live here at the farm. And so I wanted to build infrastructure from solar to sewer to water to all of those things that would be able to take care of my kids and
it would support everybody.
And B&I in the case of a depression, or in the case of times got tough, or whatever it was, we could all just hunker down on the farm and live our lives. And so that's why my house is so big.
We do have several master suites for
3 to be exact
for our kids.
Yep. There you go. Look at that. Yep, the scaffolding. This is just I think that same picture, just showing the little garage as well. But I am notorious for working on 8 projects at the same time, if you guys haven't noticed. Would you agree with that?
Yep. Well, I mean, we have to be able to fund it. So it's like you have money for this, and then it's like, okay, well, we got to wait.
Look at that. There is your first UTV.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that thing?
Yep.
That
thing was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was B's very first UTV. We long sold it, and
that thing was so rusty.
Yeah, it was rusty. But you know what? It was a game changer at the time, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
And the picture,
hauling water around.
The picture on the right, you guys can see the scaffolding that I built to rock that chimney. And I'm going to tell you guys something. B put every rock on that chimney.
Yep.
I built the scaffolding and walked away.
Yep.
And went on to something else.
And every now and again, he'd help me bring the saw out onto the scaffolding, because carrying the saw out the door, around the corner, onto the roof, and up the roof, I learned that not all shoes are slip resistant. You go stepping down onto the roof and you're like, whoa. So there was a certain pair of shoes that I kept that were had good traction on the roof.
Gregory wants to know, did the county make you get a permit every time you worked on a project? Some of them, yes. Some of them, no. So I have to, in my house, all of those I permitted all the way through. But here, because I'm just adding on to an already going permit, I just had to go change the
we never
paperwork.
stopped.
Yeah, so I just had to, change the paperwork. But all my big buildings, my barns, my shops, the warehouse or community building, those were all permitted. I didn't permit for the chicken coop or the little stuff like that. But the rest of it I did. Yeah, pretty cool. And so this is before pod 4, but this is what my house looked like through pod 1s, 2, and 3. And as you can see, the solar system bottom right corner, you can see the powerhouse, and you can see B's shop. This is actually even before my shop even went up. I have them pictures in the wrong order.
Oh, yeah.
My shop would be back in that corner back there.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh? And if you also notice, guys, back behind my house, you see all those woods back there? That's where the pond is now.
Yeah.
Remember the big pond that we built? It's in those woods. back, but it isn't right now. But it certainly will be, won't it? What do you think?
Why was that cleared right there? Were we mowing that section right there?
Yeah, I'd been working on clearing it.
You can see us stashing stuff out in the woods.
Mm-hmm. The woods are a great
Pallets
place
of
to
this
stash.
or that.
Yeah, you guys see in the top right-hand corner that open field back there? That's where the community building is, or the warehouse,
yeah.
or whatever it is, back in that open spot, which ironically is
The
where
very
we were
tip.
originally going to build the house.
In the very corner of the picture.
Yep, very top right-hand corner of the picture. Yeah, pretty neat.
Yeah, that's a lot of trees that we removed.
Yeah. Yeah. And then came pod 4, right?
Yeah. Pod 4.
Yep. And so the first picture was just getting the siding up on pod 4. This ultimately is going to be B&I's bedroom. And you guys know all the jokes that have gone on over the last couple of years about, B, you ever going to finish pod 4? But it's a long ways now, but pod 4 was ultimately going to be our bedroom, because I don't want to go up and downstairs, just use the restroom in the middle of the night. So, oh, that's cool. The plat says used diving wetsuit shoes when I was doing roofing. Interesting.
Huh.
Be like a pair of them, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And there it is again. Guys, as you can see, pod 4 is built back there. It's not, obviously, there's still some siding that needs to go up. But can you guys see where the garage door was for the skid loader?
Well, now you got the blocks up. You got rock in. You've got planting boxes in. You've got, it looks totally different now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Does it look like it was just built in all pods, or like it was always meant to be?
Right.
You know, it's kind of my own version of my own little castle.
Yeah. Like you had a plan.
Yeah, the gravel's in a lot better shape too.
Yeah.
You know, even though you go out there today, there's spots that need more gravel. Right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Pete says, is that like 10 stories? 3. Well, pod 3 has 3 levels. Let's think about this. Okay, so pod 4 has 2 levels. Pod 3 has 3 levels. That's 5. Pod 2 has 1 level. That's 6. Pod 1 has 2 levels. That's 8. That's 8 stories. 8 stories. Squatchy. You were close though. But 8. Unless you count the greenhouse. The greenhouse, if you count the greenhouse, that's 9.
Yeah.
That's been a long journey, huh, bud?
Yes.
You lived all that.
Yeah.
How is it that I've aged so much and you haven't aged at all?
I've aged. It's there. That we've done a lot. There's a lot in there, right?
Shit, this is just the house.
Right.
Wait till we get to the rest of the property, right?
Yeah.
Permatopia says, wow, that is amazing. Thank you so much. And Mary Michelle, welcome in. What was your favorite part of all that?
Of this
Of building a house, building your own
right
home.
here.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, just being able to see how it's done. You're just like, you just use like 2x4s and you just stick them up like
There's
that.
no 2x4s.
Well, we use 2x6s, but yes, it looks like it's just sticks, you know, and you're like, and that's what a house is made out of? You gotta be kidding me. It's just like sticks with more sticks on it. You're like,
what did
that's
you
what
think
I
it
live
was?
in. I don't know. I thought it would be more beefy or something.
You think a 2x6
More-
every 16 inches on
I don't
center
know.
is
Like
not
growing
beefy
up, the house that we had the slat walls, so there was like all kinds of like plaster in there and just more just stuff.
Mm.
And then this is just like
I'm gonna get B a bucket of plaster for Christmas.
no.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
It was just it's interesting to see like what a house is made out of.
I think my favorite part was just kind of the journey. You know, like I look at it at pod 2, I drove a 12-inch Phillips bit screwdriver clean
Yeah.
through my hand. B cried on pod 3, level 3. You know, just the stuff like that, you know, all the water that originally that would run towards our front door until we built these stairs and these planting boxes. These planting boxes, although it's cool, there's planting boxes.
Yeah.
And she can plant in them. They aren't really for that. What they're really for is to stop the water, because it's a little bit downhill. I'm towards the top of the hill, but I'm down maybe 4 feet. And so it's to kind of level the ground up so the water don't rush towards the front door so much. So I actually disguised water deterrents into planting boxes.
Yeah.
Basically, right?
Yeah. But I mean, it looks nice. It turned out well, but that was not at all part of the plan. And I remember you were like, I'm going to build a retaining wall here. And I was like, absolutely not. And he was like, why? It'll help with this or help with the water. And I was like, I don't think that would look good at all. I really don't. I wanted it just wide open gravel all the way to the front door.
Are you happy now?
And then he's like, let's pour a little bit of concrete right here. And I'm like, fine. And then he's like, let's pour another little bit of concrete right here. And I'm like, dude, no. And now I think we've got four pours of concrete and a retaining wall. And we're still somewhat dealing with water.
Nito says a true built with blood, sweat, and tears. Yep. Gregory says, B, ask for a drywall square for Christmas. I've got like 4 of them.
Yeah. I'm not interested in that.
And we need to welcome the Lazy Loper herself is in the house. Good to see you. We're Lazy Loper. We're just kind of going over the journey, what got us to where we're at. And we haven't really left the house. We've been talking about the house the whole time, but not for long. That's in pod 3. That's actually in our bedroom.
That's
B.
pod 4.
Maybe pod 4. That's B working on the ceiling inside. That tree that you see in the right-hand corner came out of my pond. When we dug the pond, that is forever part of my bedroom. B made a joke about how she wanted a pole in her bedroom, and what she meant was she wanted a pole at the end of the staircase so the rail didn't wobble, because in our previous house there wasn't one, and it just worked itself loose, and you were always messing with it. And so.
And I was like, well, maybe you could put a pole right here, and it will, like, I don't know, it could support the ceiling. And he's like, well, the ceiling doesn't need us to be supported. And I'm like, I don't know. At least it would help with the wall.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're not going to have to worry about that.
No. So we found a tree. Well, there's no we. I found a tree. Yeah. Drug it in the house, installed it. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's turned out nice.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it gives it.
I can't believe how light that room looks right there.
Yeah.
You know, the ceiling, the white, the wall white, the pine is light.
Yep. Yep. Good
and
stuff.
Everything's all dark now.
Yeah. You're the one that picks the colors.
I know. I wanted to be like, I'm going to be sleeping in this room. I want it dark.
Yep. And so that's pretty close to where we're at today. Right?
Pretty close.
Pretty close.
That ridiculous antenna on the top. Isn't that ridiculous what they have to do like that to get internet?
That's how I get
far away.
That's how I get internet.
Well, yeah, we have 2 internets now, but
yeah. Yep. Okay. And then finishing touches, just a couple pictures I wanted to show you guys. The first picture is actually in my living room. B also put every rock on that fireplace. Right?
Yep.
Which was pretty neat. And then that's me up on the roof on 3 levels up, working on security. I'm a big security guy. I think every single thing you build, you should work in security first and make sure that, you can keep an eye on things. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you can't secure it, you don't own it. That is just a fact. So I would just climb up there, crawl out the window, get on the roof. And that actual camera right there will zoom into a license plate at a mile away. It's a really good camera. And it's got, motion sensing, face recognition, all of that good stuff. And it'll surveil most of my property, which is pretty cool. Gregory says, nice rock work. Yeah, what's crazy is B never did it before. That was B's first attempt, huh?
Yeah.
But would you say you're a pro now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, B's a pro.
I just glued them on.
Yeah. Man, I look at a lot of these pictures and I think, man, I've aged.
Yeah.
Yep. And then so the house is built, right? So now we're off to the animals, right?
Yeah.
I love this picture. This might be one of my absolute favorite pictures of all time. That's B, and the picture, the closest picture to us. So the picture on the left is the actual picture I took. And the second picture is I zoomed in her up there, right? And so that's my bride sitting on top of what would become the turkey coop, right?
Some purlins in.
Yep. You guys can see the chicken coop back behind it just a little bit. But I'm super proud of how far B has come, and that is not something B would have done when I first met you.
No.
She would not have gotten up there, way up off the ground, and been part of the construction crew. But
yeah, I kind of feel like my dad probably wouldn't have let me. I kind of feel like if he knew some of the stuff I'm doing now, he would have a talking with you.
You think he would?
I do, because I remember when I was like, when you were at work, and I was like, I'm gonna help him out. I'm gonna mow his yard. And then I called my dad and I was like, hey, can you help me start this tractor? And he was like, what? Where? No. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna mow the yard. Just I can. He showed me. I just can't remember. Like, do I do this or do I do that? Because it won't start. And he was like, what do you mean it won't start? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I turned the key and it won't start. And he was like, I'm not telling you how to start it. And I was like, Dad, do I need to push this or do this? And he was like, I'm not going to tell you. And I'm like, Dad, he already showed me. I just need to start it. And he goes, well, if he showed you, you would know how to do it. And I was like, never mind. And then you got home and you were like, oh, because the blade was engaged. And I was like, because when blade's engaged, it won't start. I'm like, dang it.
You could have had that whole yard.
I could have had the yard mowed for you. I'm sorry. And he was like, no, next time start it and mow for me. But no, my dad is like, you're doing what? Or you're on the roof? Get off of the roof, Bethany. You're driving and there's ice outside. Why is he not driving you? But my dad would be like, oh, you're in town. It's going to snow. I'll come and start your car and dust it off for you. That's how he always was. And you're like, my car's going to be dusted off. You're dusting it off for me. Yeah. And I do. I'm like, I don't want you out on the road without your window cleared. And he's like reaching out with a credit card, trying to like clear one little spot for like one eye. And he's like, I can see out just fine. And I'm like, no, you are not leaving like that.
Scotch wants to know how we met. So when I was living in the corporate world, I had a client, and the client's office manager was Bethany's friend.
Yes.
So, and then we dated for 7 years, 6 years. How long did we date? I think it was 7 years.
It was long.
Yeah,
it was forever.
7 years before we got married.
It was like forever.
Yeah, Nito said, being the oldest of 4 kids, my dad relied on me a lot, so I grew up doing a lot of things. Yep. All right. And then we got to start B's Gardens, right? That's the start of the first garden. And you guys...
It looks flat now.
It does, doesn't it? And there's no fence up. Oh, look, you got your Bee-mobile. And the turkey coop and the chicken coop in your shop. Yep. And so this was us starting garden number 1. And now, as you guys know, we have 2 big gardens plus the food forest. But this was where the growing began for B and I.
Yeah.
And all that dirt, I bought some like 500 tons of 10-year-old cow manure from a organic farm. And I actually got it for free, but I had to pay for the trucking. And
it was, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's eventually...
We had to rent a truck, and then we had to pay...
We had to rent an excavator, rent a
loader, front loader.
A front loader and a truck.
And then a trailer, truck and trailer.
Yeah. But I ended up having about $120 in a 27-ton load.
Yeah.
When it was all done. And through 2 days, and this is what we did to get it all. But it gave us great start as far as soil goes.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of where it began, right? And then we built the food forest, as you guys can see. This is the food forest, something I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
You too?
That's beautiful.
Yeah, we're in year 3. The food forest is 3 years old, right? And getting better and better and better every year. Every year it gets bigger.
Well, yeah, the stuff is starting to grow up, so we're actually getting to see it.
Well, and eat it.
Before, when it was like a twig, you go and you're like, I bought an elderberry, and it's like one stick, and you like plant that stick, and you're like, them deer are eating my sticks.
Hey, One More Rock, how are you? Welcome in. She says, I've missed y'all. I met a boyfriend. Well, you need to walk with your boyfriend, right? Yeah. Tell your boyfriend that Tag said all cool people watch Life Done Free.
Congratulations. I hope he treats you just as wonderful as you are.
Yep. Amen to that. So I don't know how many of you guys out in the audience tonight actually who have planted food forests. I know some of you here I know have. But it's really cool. And what I like about it is it's not a lot of maintenance. And every year it just gets a little better.
There's a lot of maintenance still.
Not as much as a garden.
There's still a lot of maintenance.
Yeah.
I have to get in between all of that. You're supposed to. Well, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to plant stuff that you want in there.
Yeah. Well, but every year we plant.
Every year it gets better.
We put more and more in it. And so, when the first year you had, 8 herbs, how many?
And the rest of it was
weeds,
grass.
Yes. How many different herbs you got in there now?
Yeah.
Hundreds.
20.
I mean, a lot, right? And, there's, I don't even know, 50 or 100 trees.
Yeah. There's some pretty cool stuff
in there. Yeah. And so there's a lot of that. Greg says, how big is the forest? I don't know how many acres it is. I've never really mapped it out. It's probably, 300 by 400, maybe something like that. But it's big and it's cool. It's again, one of the things that I'm, super proud of. And again, I can't wait to see what it looks like in 10 years.
Yeah.
Because by then the fruit trees will all be super tall, and we're finally starting to get fruit. We got plums last year and pears.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm really looking forward to our first apples.
There are goji berries on the bush out there now.
Is there?
Yes.
Because of the weather change?
I don't know.
I hope it doesn't ruin our spring.
Oh. Knock on wood or something. Don't say that.
Yeah.
It'll be just fine. Everything will be fine. Planting, growing.
Yep. You can see the gardens in the background with the arches and the fences around them and all the infrastructure. And we were talking about the food forest, and the third picture, the picture farthest away. I'll go get plants, and I'm notorious for bringing plants home for B. And sometimes I think she gets mad at me for it.
He brings all kinds of stuff home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think she gets mad at me because now she knows she has to go plant it, right?
No, I don't mind planting it. It's just that there's so much to do, and then if I don't get it done, I'm not going to do that no more.
Well, if I buy a plant and bring it home and it don't get planted and it dies,
that makes sense,
right? I mean, and look at that big, beautiful tomato.
Yeah,
isn't that beautiful. It's amazing how much food our farm is beginning to produce. We threw away. I don't say threw away. That was the wrong way.
We helped others.
We gave away and lost from just falling off the vine, right? Stuff like that. So much food this last year. And, everybody that wanted food, walked away with food, but tomatoes or peppers or this or that, right? Because there's just so much of it. And me and B are still super busy with really construction and all of those things. So it's hard to find time to take care of it all, which is why we've talked a lot about, an intern and, things like that. But it really has, as much to do with that as it does anything else. Gregory says 300 by 400 is about 2.75 acres. Oh, cool. Good to know.
Thank you.
Permatope Farm says we are starting digging swales and berms for our contour tree planting, about 500 to 1,000 trees. Love it.
Beautiful.
Love it. We've
all fruit trees.
Oh, wouldn't that be cool? We've probably planted 2,000 or 3,000 trees since we started.
Oh yeah.
Most of them would be cedar trees, right? Because we're trying to block views and create screens for bees and
where we're trying to make woods.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Well, I wanted to make sure we planted more than we took out.
Well, and too, when we find a oak over here and it's and we can transplant it, or what was that one you found in the cinder blocks out front? It was a walnut tree or something. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's something that I love about living where I live is, I can walk out in the woods and, our property is about half woods. And so I can walk out and I can pick as many oak trees, walnut trees, locust trees, cedar trees. There's a lot of them, elderberry trees, whatever it is. I can pick them and move them and plant them, super, super easy. But we don't have a lot of fruit. And so we've planted a lot of apples and pears and peaches.
Well, we have there's red bud trees, which you can eat.
Sure. Yeah, here's a great question. Lizzie Loper says, B, what's your secret to keeping up on the garden along with everything else?
I don't know if I do. I mean, sometimes it's all just a little bit of chaos. But I do enjoy, you know, when it's like summertime and we're like, I'm hungry. Let's just go up and see what's available.
Yeah.
And then we get to just take a whole bunch of stuff and take it back to the house and eat it. That's the best part.
Mhm.
I don't think that I can keep up with it all. I'm just enjoying it
Yeah.
as it grows and I find it.
Yeah, and we don't trip out if you know, we lose a little produce or a little this or that, you know.
No, but we have so many people that come around that it's like, hey,
Yeah.
you got tomatoes? Go see.
Yeah.
You know, we help a lot of people.
Yeah. And it's good. We've given away a lot of elderberry. We've given away a lot of comfrey.
All food. Yeah.
You know, stuff that we've been taken out of the food forest. Because my dream for the food forest was really to be a nursery anyway.
Yeah.
That we could then take plants out of and fill our woods. So our woods truly became a food forest.
Yeah.
And
then if so and so says, I need some, you know, fill in the blank.
Mhm.
Let me go up and see what I can do. Or
Yeah.
this homestead over here needs elderberries. Let me see what I can do.
Yeah. Permatopia says that the trees are a combination of fruit trees, nut, and timber for consumption, wildlife, and timber.
Nice.
Yeah. Lazy Lopez, I can't seem to get the garden thing going. Well, I'm going to tell you, and then this might be ignorant speaking, because, you know, we've only been gardening for a decade, maybe something like that. But it seems to me that every year the garden gets better.
It just, I think it depends on what, because
Mhm.
that we had one year at the other house that we had such a plethora of corn
Mhm.
that we were dehydrating it and
Mhm.
freezing it and eating it and giving it. And I think it just depends on the year.
That's
It
probably.
depends on, you know, then 2 years ago, the tomatoes were
Mhm.
just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the Buffalo Seed Company, we had agreed to, they were going to buy like, I don't remember what it was, but like 13 pounds of tomatoes. And then like they came and they got their 13, or I think actually they took like in the 20s, like pounds. They took more than 13 pounds. But then they were like,
They paid for them.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But they were interested in more than what they
Right.
had initially said that they were, you know, requiring or needing,
Mhm.
or requesting, I mean. And then he said, what about, he had told Nancy, he said, we should maybe come back and get another round if it's available. And I think they did come back for another round of tomatoes because they were just, I mean, look at how big they were. They were just beautiful.
Yeah.
And maybe I should put them back over there this year. Because I had them over here. So
Mhm.
I'm rotating where I'm putting them. And then also separating them by species so that we can keep a true seed or,
Mhm.
you know, try to within, what is it, 10 feet or something like that. For tomato. But I think it really depends on the year
Mhm.
and where we're putting them.
Mhm.
But like the food forest, it got away from me. There was so much stuff in there. I was weed whacking the buttonweed and the whatever that other one was, Johnson grass, I think some of it was, but weed whacking that. And then I'm like, whoa, there's a sage in here. And then, you know, you're just going along. Like if because when you're out weed eating, you don't have your map with you. And then sometimes you plant something and you're like, oh, dang it, I forgot I put that there. Or somebody else helps you and you're like, oh, I forgot they put that there. So trying to I try to keep them in the middle of the swell unless I'm going to plant them in groups. And then I'll do like a 3, which they're still kind of easier to see amongst the what you don't want and then what you do want. Also trying to mulch or paper or cardboard or something to try to keep some of that away
Mhm.
from the exact thing that you planted helps also. Getting help from others helps.
I couldn't
Is
figure
that
out.
me?
That's you. I couldn't figure out what you were holding up. Maybe you're weeding. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm weeding. Those look like sunflowers.
Mhm. Probably are. Grapes and sunflowers. Right?
Great. Yep. Birdhouse gourds.
And I still cannot figure out why anybody grows birdhouse gourds.
For birdhouses
Why do you need birdhouses when you have 20 acres of woods?
to get the birds over where you want them, so that they can eat the mosquitoes.
Somebody out there in the audience tonight that's a smart ass, remind me as we go along about have you built any birdhouses yet?
All in due time. There's
Conserve
a
Friends
time
wants to know if
frame.
you make a legend of your gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. And the food forest too. She's got it all mapped out, knows right where everything is. But again, as she was mentioned before, she don't normally carry that with her. You know?
Right. Now, if I'm going to plant something new, I'll take it up there and I'll add it to it. Or if there's a lot, like when he goes to the greenhouse and he's like, look what all this stuff was on clearance, looking for a good home. And he'll bring it home, and then I'll have a whole bunch of stuff. I'll go get my book and I'll write it all down at the same time. What is that? Berries, plums, mint, dill. Yeah, strawberries. There's a strawberry in there.
Yeah.
Elderberry.
And your tomato arches. Guys, I'm going to tell you something.
Blueberry.
I love growing tomatoes on arches. I think that is the dig. And
you can see them a little bit.
You see them great. You harvest great. Now, the bottom side gets brown like you guys see, but the top side is super green. Man, does it make it easy. You know, Squatchy says, I so struggle with my Thompson seedless grapes. Yeah, we're not great grape growers yet either. This is a fairly new thing for us. We're learning as we grow, as we go. But man, the animals sure do like to take it out on the grapes.
Oh man, the Japanese beetles really demolished the grapes this last year.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't keep them off, and I put traps out. And
Gregory says, "How about a community birdhouse day?"
Yeah,
that would actually be fun.
I don't have very many birdhouses though. There's just a few.
And then came the animals.
Paddock one.
That's a good idea.
Not a goose.
Plumber Mickey says, get a waterproof real estate box and keep a copy of the plan in the garden.
Oh.
Yep. This is, I think I showed you guys this picture here recently. I think B has a problem.
No.
Yeah.
I think I've butchered since then.
Yeah, turkeys and chickens and guineas and goats. Yeah. You know, they say that chickens are the gateway, right? Because the chickens lead to the guineas, which lead to the turkeys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which lead to the geese.
Well, the geese just showed up one day from the neighbor. They were just like, bam, there's geese. And I was like, what the what?
Let's see here. Squatchy says, fine white garden netting works great. And also for figs. We had a great fig. Her figs really took off this last year.
Oh, to put around the netting,
Mm-hmm.
to put around the grapes.
The grapes.
To keep the beetles off. Really?
Yep. Fine white garden netting. Yep. And then came the cows.
There's a little cow.
This is our first calf born on our property. This is Camus. And his name is Camus because his mom is Moo. And when he was born, he matched the ground so perfectly. He was camouflaged. He was hard to see.
Yeah.
So he got named Camus. He's no longer here. He went to a different farm where he's alive and well. But
I think he's been steered though.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll end up in the freezer, but for now, right? And then it just grows. That's the next two babies that were born on our farm. And what started as one cow 3 years ago, we now have 5, and 2 of them are pregnant. Right?
It's supposed to be bred. Yeah. We can't guarantee it.
No, can't guarantee it, but that is that. And let me get rid of that one and add that one. And then
there you go.
There's all 5 of them.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all lined in a line.
Yep, all laying down. Yeah. I really like the turkeys. I really like the cows. They're my favorite. I don't care for the geese. I don't mind the chickens or the guineas. They just don't do nothing. But
yeah, that's true. They don't do nothing.
They don't really do nothing, you know. Yeah. And we built lots of cages for all of the animals. Inside the turkey coop is full of these. and so that we can keep track
Did
of
you
all.
see somebody painted the that fencing black and then you can see right through it or something?
Mm-hmm. You spray paint it black?
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know if they spray painted
Yeah, they spray paint it. Mo wants to know, have you caught any fish yet? Oh yeah, there's big fish been caught out of that pond quite often. I've caught some, but like Jesse and comes down and fishes, or people come down and fish sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's full of fish. The fish we built a great pond, which I think I got slides on coming up here somewhere. And then the goats.
Yeah.
Right. And they are ninjas.
They are, yes, they are a whole new breed. They do not listen. They do not care about you. They just want food.
Mm-hmm.
That is their whole. They get up and they just want food, and they all day long. They just want food.
Yep. I added these slides because
That's Mr. P.
Yeah, the first dog, that was Panzer, who was attacked by something. He got lots of staples and stitches. We got him nursed back to health, and then one day he was gone, and we've never seen him. It's been over a year, right?
Oh yeah, he just never came home.
Yeah, the middle picture is a chicken that lost its life, and I'm only showing you guys these pictures to talk about that death was part of this too, and was part of our learning experience. You guys remember the picture on the right? That's Violet, who was somebody shot her. We don't know who did it, and that was a pretty powerful moment in my life because
that was awful.
Yeah, she was breathing very lightly, and I went to get my gun to put her down so she didn't suffer. And then as I was walking back in with my gun, she stood up. And when she stood up, I said, if she has the energy to stand up, we might be able to save her. So we threw her in the back seat of my truck, and we hauled her to the vet. And the amazing experience at the vet. The vet let be part of the whole process. And she recovered, and she's alive and well today, and a great animal. But unfortunately, death's part of this journey. And
Well, trauma.
yeah,
I mean, because that was to walk out there. I mean, both of all the situations is just, it's traumatic,
Mhm.
to see something that you love go through that. And to know, like in the one situation for sure, it was somebody around here that did it.
Mhm.
Because, with Mr. P, you think, well, a coyote could have got him, a whole nother pack of dogs could have done that, or something, he could have torn himself on a fence, or I don't know what, you just don't know. But with the last dog there, when the vet took her x-rays and he said, this is bullet fragments in here, and it's like, are you kidding me? That is crazy. Like, our neighbors have dogs that roam all the time, and they don't get shot.
Mhm. Right.
How? Why? Who?
Mhm.
And then for her to make it we followed the blood all the way to the very tip of our property. So for her to have gotten shot somewhere off of our property and then come the whole long way, all the way around, and then back to the back deck, like to the house, to lay there and wait for us.
Yeah, well, we woke up in the morning. This bee walked out to get some firewood, and this is what we found. And it was on from there, huh?
Yeah.
Has death been hard for you to get used to?
Yeah, I don't think you get used to it.
I think you do. I think it's just like the chickens. I mean, it's part of the process. You can't.
It's still traumatic every time it happens. So it's not like you're just like, meh.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the one guy that just throws puppies in the pond because he doesn't want them.
Mm-hmm.
You just get used to that.
Yeah, I would.
That's not, no. But what I'm saying is that if you're doing something to something that's so vulnerable like that, that's one thing. When you're the one that is in the receiving end of that, I feel it's like it's a different thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this dog wasn't out maliciously doing something. Like
Yeah.
she wasn't out killing somebody's animals. That's not, she doesn't do that. She was not on her property.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's my responsibility to keep her safe.
Mhm.
And if she's not on my property, then I'm not doing her any
Mhm.
favors. Well, that made that right there is what made the fence. Because her coming home shot made us make the fence a priority.
Yep.
And then it was on.
Yeah. After that, we completely fenced all 40 acres. When before we had the front fenced, so people couldn't get in, but the dogs could get out, and we stopped that in a hurry. But I want you guys to know that the good end news to the story is she is alive and well, and she is doing great. Unfortunately, Panzer isn't, and whatever bird happened to get taken right there isn't either. But
So the
there's
birds, that's
I think there's another side of it too. Is you got to understand that when we talk about we want to be the lion in the Serengeti and free, not the lion in the zoo. Well, that applies to our animals just a little bit too, right?
yeah,
I mean, if we're going to have them free range, you have to accept the fact that predators are going to get a few of them.
right. Well, I mean, I could put my birds in a cage and they can stay in a
Yep.
cage for their whole life, and they will probably be just fine and
Yep.
until they die of heart attacks. But
Yep.
that's not the whole free ranging kind of system that I was hoping for.
Yeah.
You know, I was kind of hoping that my birds were able to walk on green grass wherever they wanted to and not have me dictating where they were going to be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we built a mobile chicken coop for that reason.
Remember what this is, babe?
That's, yeah, the community
This,
warehouse.
yeah, this was the start of the warehouse
Uh-huh.
or the community building, and we had poured some concrete. We were going to pour it in 3 pours because they were big pours, but this was the beginning of what ultimately would end up a place for us to gather, which I think has been a complete game changer.
Mhm.
You can have a whole lot better conversations versus all of us packing into a restaurant and not really being able to have any real conversations. Helen says, thank God she is still alive and well, but the devastating, that breaks my heart. Yeah, it's super, super sad. Super, super, super sad. And then the community came out and we began to work on a community building,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. With a lot of help.
A lot of help. Yep.
And that was probably the fastest building that went up.
Yes, we'll add a lot of help, right?
You can see there's not gravel to the building yet.
Nope, that's right. I'm trying to truck through these.
Yep.
Look at that. Well, it came a lot different, huh?
Nice big open room.
And this, you want to talk about leveling up? Oh my goodness. So because we had the community building, I needed to power it. And so we were going to trench. I wanted to trench a line from the powerhouse where my house is down to the community building, but not because I wanted to run power from the house down there. It's because I was going to put a system in the community building and I wanted to be able to harness the community building's power at the house. Right. So we actually connected them. And so right now today in my house, I can use either system I want. It's a 108 kilowatt hour system, which means I have big power at demand. The other day I welded for 8 hours all day long.
Yes.
And, right.
Yeah.
All day.
Into the dark. Because I was like, what are you still welding out here?
Yeah. And just fine, absolutely no problem. But this allowed us to level up. The first picture is the grid down system. That's a 54 kilowatt hour system that's in the community building. And I just took a fraction of a picture on the right. That's a 56 kilowatt hour system that's in the powerhouse. And again, it's such a big level up for us. We went through this year already. We had a 9 days. Is that right?
Yeah.
We had a 9-day stretch with almost no sun. And our first system got down into the 40% from a battery perspective. And as soon as it got down to about 40, I switched the other system on, which was at full power.
Yeah.
And so we didn't even miss a beat.
Yeah.
Didn't have to change anything. Didn't stop doing anything. This is a big game changer. This took us to a whole new level of freedom from a power perspective, although it also makes us dependent. Right? Because you're dependent on batteries and cables and all of those things. But at the same time, I have 2 identical systems. I can swap parts.
Yeah.
If I need to, I can use one or the other. And so it does give me another layer, I think, of safety, which
Well, and two, this
That's pretty
also
cool.
allows us to have people over where we can show them the systems. We can show them
How it works.
how it works. We can show them what we've done.
Yep.
You know, this whole warehouse has been a blessing to allow. I mean, I don't know how many people you give tours to when we have events.
All the time.
You know, the doors are open. We're showing, you know, what the system is, what it looks like, how big it is, what it sounds like. People are like, you know, they have no idea that they make noise. You know, you probably don't want this right next to your bed. That just things that you don't know, you don't think about when you don't know.
Yep. But super glad to have the power.
Oh yeah.
Right. No, that's the solar panels that runs the community building or the warehouse. Yep.
That's the water tank.
Yep. And so you guys see that white tank right there? That's actually the water for the community building. It's all rainwater. That's the only water source it has today. Someday I'd like to dig a well for it, but not today.
Yeah.
All right. And that's community building still being constructed a little bit. Then we got to put the septic in. That was such a big deal, right? To have flushing toilets at the community building. And
Game changer.
Yep. And today we have 2 functioning toilets, 2 functioning sinks, and 1 functioning shower.
We got 3 sinks.
Oh yeah, the
And
kitchen sink. I
kitchen.
forgot about the kitchen sink. Yep, that's right. Yep, there's the kitchen inside the community center. Yep, that's what it looks like. That was for the fall festival this year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, pretty cool.
It was great.
Yep, I wanted to include some pictures of the pond. This was the pond being built in that first picture. And this was back, if you remember from the earlier pictures, where it was all woods. And I said there was going to be a pond there someday. You can actually see the big island out there, kind of around the corner. This pond actually turns and goes all the way around the corner. But see that blue barrel in the bottom of that picture, in the bottom of that pond? That blue barrel has hundreds of little holes drilled in it, and it's filled with gravel. And then in the center of that gravel, there's a 6-inch piece of PVC pipe, and it's got a whole bunch of holes in it filled with gravel. And then there's I think a 2-inch inside of that with holes that are capped, and it runs underneath the bottom of the dam. The dam's 147 feet across at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And so that runs all the way out. So I can go down to the bottom of the dam, open a valve, and have access to big head pressure, lots of water.
Yeah.
If we ever need it and don't have, you know, the well goes dry, I don't have access to water, I can still use the pond. Now, this pond looks pretty dirty right now, but it's a whole lot clearer now, as you can see in the right-hand picture.
You can see the dock, the start of the dock right there too.
Yeah. Oh, yep. Start of the dock. I put those 2 poles in because I knew I wanted to put a dock on there while the pond was drained,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that I would have it. Helen says, I don't see any more comments on my phone and on my screen. I'm getting them on my end. So Nito said our installer and the Nevada Energy guys are both impressed and talked about purchasing their own system. They're great systems.
Oh man, between the system we had before and the system that we have now is just, it is so much prettier.
Way more effective.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
it charges faster.
It's a whole nother level.
Yeah,
we're very, very happy with them. And that's the pond today. Isn't that beautiful? The first picture there where you're looking down on the dock and the pond, that's the picture from my back door.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
It looks
people out there swimming.
Way overgrown.
Well, it's wonderful. Look how green and how beautiful it is.
It's good to see that right now because right now everything's dead out there. It's the middle of winter. Yeah. There's no green grass.
And then Bethany wanted a barn, so I thought I'd include some pictures of building her barn for her animals. For some reason, my wife thinks that
cows need stalls.
Cows need stalls.
Not all cows. Cows.
Her cows need stalls. So you can see on the right, all those garage doors. So down one side of her barn, I put 7 garage doors so that she could have 7 stalls and could have the door open or closed. Now we have an inner door as well because the garage doors stay open a lot. But if you ever want to isolate somebody, shut out the weather, whatever it is, I think we have to prepare for extreme weathers. There was 144 mile an hour winds in Oregon and parts of Montana this week. And so I think we should be expecting to have minus 70-degree weather.
Mm.
I think we should expect to
Good
have
grief.
100-mile-an-hour winds. I think we got to build to those kind of things. So being able to shut it all down like that, I think would be super healthy.
Yeah. And I'd put the cows in there and shut the doors up.
Yeah. Nito said they both look sharp and tidy. They do. Yep, they do. And B wanted some stalls. So I built her stalls. I'm now working on getting basically cattle panels put on the horizontal slats for the stalls. Because what we've learned is although it keeps the cows in just fine, it does not keep the goats in, does not keep the turkeys in, does not keep the
Right.
chickens in. And then they get into the other side of the barn.
They're fighting
And-
over food.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not really fighting, but I don't want the goats eating the cow's food. I want the cows eating the cow's food. I want the goats eating the goat food.
Yeah.
And the goats will sit there and eat their food really fast, and they'll run over to the next bull and just start eating theirs. And the cows are just so docile. They're just like, okay.
Some other accomplishments, as you guys know, we have been super proactive at our local politics. We have overturned resolutions. We have fought them on solar farms. We have done lots of stuff. I'm very, very proud of this, that we can continue to do these kinds of things. We got one of our community members to run for commissioner.
Yeah.
Yep, he did not win, but doesn't mean, doesn't mean that we don't continue to swing and continue to try. This particular guy is a great homesteader, knows a ton. And normally I wouldn't mention their names, but since it's on the sign, I can't really do anything about that, right? Got to meet a lot of really, really cool people. The first picture is Gratitude to Grace at the Self-Reliance Festival. Actually, both are Self-Reliance Festival. And there's Eric from Porterhouse and Teal and Grumpy Acres and Hack for the Homestead and Bobby Spags, etc. Right?
Louise.
I'm just trying to get through these. Yep, Matt Louise Milliman and her husband, they live off-grid in Georgia at the Next Step Convention when I spoke down there. Same place I actually met Callie. That is
Five Finger Death.
yeah, Five Finger Death Punch when we were at the SHOT Show, which is pretty cool. Again, I'm trying to blow through these. Hanging out with John Willis from SOE and Bear Independent, and that is Billy Bond
And Eric.
from Permapasture Farms and Eric from Porterhouse and Teal. Had Joe Salopin come down and talk to the school. That was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Sorry, babe, I'm just trying to run
Yeah.
through before I get too late. Got to have big fireworks show. Jim Gale came down.
Look how
right?
beautiful those are. Those are our pictures.
Yes, yeah, that's right off your pond. And this next year is going to be even bigger.
Oh, yeah. I heard about it.
Yeah, we're already planning, and it is going to be even bigger. Yep, we were blessed with lots of starts for this, which ended up going to many homesteads and blessed many people, which is pretty cool. The community got together to cook many of things. The picture all the way on the right is Joe from American Roots picking up the stove for the community building.
Oh,
The other
yeah.
pictures are Jess and Jen as they prepared whatever they were
Salsa looks
preparing.
like, yeah.
Yeah, right, that day.
Yeah.
Got to join a lot of homesteads and got to go help a lot of them. This was actually building a house for some of our very good friends as they built inside of a barn. And part of their barn is a barn and part of their barn is a house. And we got to go out and, help them build it. We got to experience the pleasure of watching water turn on for the first time or power turn on for the
Watching
first time.
the king in the tub.
This is the king in the tub. That's absolutely right. We got to up our
While
skills.
his bride
Yeah.
was working.
While his bride was working, pouring concrete. You see him sitting
Get
in the
out
chair?
there and
He's eating a
work.
banana sitting in the chair.
Oh, he is.
He is. The
eating.
king is on his throne. And right, while we poured concrete. And we got to level up and everyone got to pick up their skills a little bit. He did finally get to work though, so
That's
finally. Yep. This is out at another homestead as we were building really their pod one, which was a really, really cool day. This is the Stanley pad. And again, we get to a lot of different homesteads. This was one of my favorite memories was building this house. This is again some great friends of ours. And that's day one, setting the center beam before we built that whole house. Ultimately, the community spent time and put that whole house up from a dried-in perspective or from a rough construction perspective. The couple themselves, they went on to do all of the siding and windows and trim and doors and, and all of those kind of things. But we still got to experience it as a community. Here's another little tiny house that we put up. This one actually wasn't all that long ago. That's Indiana Mike all the way at the top. up there. And there's Yoda and Grumpy. And who's back there in the back? That's Daniel. Who's up
It's
top?
Pippin.
I can't tell. There's Pippin. Yep. Put it in again where, people get to, try to live that life of freedom. This is from American Roots Farm. We were pouring a pad out in front for them, which is pretty cool. Communities, another real big benefit is when you get to put all your money together to buy things cheaper. And so we had a bunch of people needed solar panels. So we bought a whole truckload of them. And it was fun for me. It was a really great experience because trucks would come down the driveway with trailers and we'd pick up a pallet or a half a pallet, whatever it was that they were getting, and they would leave and another truck would come. And we got to buy these for 25 cents on the dollar because we could buy them in the sides of loads. We bought loads of siding. That's Hardy Lap siding that we bought semi load of, or Blue Barrels.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Did you remember? How many farms were blessed by that load of Blue Barrels?
Yeah.
Many.
Yeah, that's like Sanford and Son.
Hey, you know
down
what?
the road. I can't believe you tied those off of the toe strap.
Hey, made it home. We made it home.
Wow.
We lost a couple along the way. We had to stop and pick up, but we made it home. And that's what happens when you send me
Throw them up over the top.
when you send me to an auction.
Yeah.
I come home with Blue Barrels.
Huh.
We had lots of community events in the new community building. Lots of conversations, right? To go on. Ate lots of great food. I love that picture. One of my absolute favorite pictures.
All the guys serving.
Well, not just that, but just having fun and, enjoying it. Enjoying all of that, incredible hard work. Right? All kinds of interesting characters that we get to hang out with. There's the guy that ran for office and
his pet snake.
Yep, that sharpshooter in the bottom right-hand corner and the excavator, and he was actually digging the septic system for the community building. And then there's Mario, top right-hand corner. I covered him in sawdust.
What does he got?
He was standing there, and I wasn't paying attention. I just went about my day and
just cut right at him.
Cut it, and it just blew sawdust on him.
He was like, "Hey."
Yeah. It was Ode to Carpenter. It was a new cologne.
Yeah.
We should have bottled it. Right, again, great people. There's my buddy, and Silver Lining with the first cow from the farm. Right, there's Mike and Jen back behind them.
Mother's Day.
Yep. And most importantly, I am proud of my wife, who has grown from a city girl to unloading feed and hauling firewood. She looks excited in that picture.
No, I know.
She?
You must have said something really smart.
Yep.
Making butter,
hauling pipe on the four-wheeler and chopping ice. That's my wife chopping ice on the pond.
Oh, yeah.
For the cows in that far right-hand corner.
I want them to eat.
Yeah, you do. And finally, before we leave you guys tonight, I want to remind you we're going to do the Free Van Festivus January the 3rd from 12 to 9 p.m. We finally have details. Would you like to talk about it? You have 2 minutes.
Sure. It's January 3rd from 12 to 9. You want to come early and set stuff up, welcome to, but otherwise the fun starts at noon. We got some turkey and some ham and some pork butt we're going to cook. Dinner is served at 4. We ask that you bring your favorite side dish to share, and please make a list of the ingredients to help people make smart choices. Some people are allergic to some things, and we don't want any issues. So if you can make a little card with your name on it and put your ingredients in it and set it next to your dish, that would be great. We're going to have karaoke and indoor board games. If you have a favorite game that you're just dying to share with everybody, bring it along. 6 o'clock, we're going to do the fire where people are going to have their trees. If you're done with your Christmas tree and you want to bring it and you want to get rid of it, bring it on down and we'll burn it with the others. If you don't have a Christmas tree that you want to burn and your tree's plastic and you want to keep it, then you can write your grievances on a piece of paper and throw it into the fire.
And say goodbye to 2025.
Say goodbye to 2025. Yeah. We're going to have a holiday cookie contest. Says bring your favorite holiday cookie and enter it to the contest. We've got some prizes we're going to give out. The contest is for best appearance, I believe, like best looking, best, overall appearance of the cookie, and then one for best tasting. So if you think that you have the best tasting cookie ever out there, you should bring it and enter it. On the cookies, after we do the contest, we ask that you then put your name, your little card out with your names and ingredients. We don't want any issues with allergies. So that would be super.
Super fun.
What else was there? Something about the nope.
So yeah, so we'd love to see everybody that we could. I hope you guys enjoyed going through some of the journeys of Life Done Free over the last handful of years in the community. I'm super proud of the community. This year's been a hard year for me from a community perspective. There's just been I'm learning to grow, and
Are we all?
not always easy, and then it don't always come easy.
Smoothly.
Yeah. It doesn't. And, I think as we get out of here tonight, because we're at, hey, Big B, you came in right at the end. Good man. You got any parting words before we get out of here tonight?
I was going to say to, be proud of your efforts, that we've come a long way, that look back and go, wow, it's taken us forever to get where we're at, but really it hasn't. Like we've done a lot of it ourselves, and we should be proud of where we are, what we've accomplished with our own two hands, and the relationships along the way, and the lessons that we've learned, and the challenges too, because that's where we grow, right? The people around us, we've got great kids, we've got a great family, great friends. If we could just get rid of them taxes.
Yeah. Right. And I'll build on that. Be proud. I think the world makes pride a bad thing. Pride's not a bad thing. Be proud of where you come from. Be proud that you're awake. Right.
I think, yeah. I don't think that we're walking around.
No, it's not that. But we've all been through a journey.
Oh, and
the journey's not always easy. And you start with a Quonset hut that you have to pull down, right? And then plumbing that's laid in the wrong spot, and a $6,800 bill because your dad, God bless him, drives it into a mud hole that he can't get out of. And then what do you do right there? And you should be proud. I'm proud. I'm proud of the distance that we've come. I wish it had gone quicker and it was done for cheaper, but it wasn't.
Right.
And and here we are. And so you guys are all here tonight. Be proud of where you are. Be proud that you're awake. Be proud that you're not alone. Be proud that you have other people you can reach out to. I know very many of you in the chat tonight. Be proud of those things. Be proud of it. Even if what you're doing is gardening with a tomato in a bucket, you're doing it. Right?
You're learning.
That's right. You're further ahead than almost every single person out there today. And so be proud of all of those things. Don't apologize for any of them. And we'll see you guys in a week. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Because we'll see you the day after Christmas, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Anyway,
Hold the line.
don't give it an inch. Yeah.
Yeah.